Is your fuel system losing prime? Does your engine run for 20 minutes and then die and not start again? Is it surging or sputtering? Well, the problem might not be what you think. Let me show you a quick fix that could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And the fix is hiding underneath the C-pan, so let's get this off. First, disconnect your seat safety switch if it is still hooked up. A lot of these have been bypassed over the years, but check just in case. Then remove the bulbs from the taillights. Now there are 4 13mm bolts holding the C-pan down. I'm using a cordless impact with an extension and a swivel. This just makes it easier to get in there. Now go ahead and remove the filler cap. And you can start lifting from the back of the tractor. You will need to bring it up high enough to clear the tires and the fuel filler neck. The hydraulic levers up front will try to scratch the paint if you're not careful. I put a little tape on the bottom of them just to protect the finish. Now just carefully work the seat back until it clears the hydro levers and the tires, and then you can lift it straight up and off. Set it somewhere safe so it won't get in your way and it won't get damaged. And then just throw the fuel cap back on so nothing falls into the tank while you're working. If you go into forums or Facebook groups for the John Deere 300 series, you're going to find people asking for advice on why their engine isn't running quite right, or why it dies when it gets hot and then won't restart, and why it just acts like it's running out of gas. And you're going to find a lot of answers about cleaning the carb or replacing the fuel filter, and a lot of times that doesn't solve the issue. And people go as far as saying that the engine is trashed and you need a new one. And a repower on these can cost thousands, when in actuality, the problem is probably right here in the tank. And that issue is this: Tygon. You see, Tygon is a wear item, just like your tires or belts or filters. It needs to be replaced every once in a while, and the manufacturer says about every 5 years. But this isn't something that you're going to find in a John Deere service manual or owner's manual, which is a shame because it can cause a lot of problems when it goes bad. So if you have owned your tractor for more than 5 years and you've never replaced this Tygon inside the tank, even if you're not having issues right now, you really should replace it to prevent any future problems. So let's dig in and show you how it's done. So first off, it's really dirty around these grommets, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a wire brush and clean all the dirt off around them. Once you get all the dirt knocked loose, you can take some compressed air and blow this all off. Or in my case, I don't have a compressor in the garage I'm working in right now, so I'll just take my leaf blower and get this all blown off. After I blew off all that dirt, I just took some all-purpose cleaner and just cleaned this area a little bit better. Just make sure that we don't get any dirt in the tank once we get these grommets out of here. So now we are ready to take the fuel lines off. I am going to be replacing these fuel lines, but it will be easier to get all of this off with them out of the way. So I am using a hose clamp pliers from Work Pro just to make this a lot easier. It's not a sponsored video. I just like their product. So just nice and easy, get these hose clamps out of the way. And then I'm sure these are gonna be terrible to get off, but actually, since I am replacing them, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them, just being careful not to damage this fitting at all. This one would be getting replaced, this one will not. Now with the fuel lines out of the way, we can pull off these fittings and grommets. I'm just gonna take some glass cleaner and kind of move these around, try and lubricate underneath there. To be completely transparent, this is my first time doing this job, so I'm learning right along with you. So I'm gonna try a couple different things to get these grommets out. I think this trim tool will work. This is for removing interior panels in a car generally. But these are going to be very tight, of course, because they Ooh. I was just thinking I have quite a bit of fuel in the tank still, so I'm just gonna go ahead and lift up the front of the tank and slide a board underneath here just to get the fuel running to the back. And then I can continue to try and pull these grommets out of here. Just like that. And you can see there is no hose on this one. This would be the reserve line generally, and there should be, I'll show you, there should be a piece of hose this long with a screen on the bottom that acts as your reserve. So this would explain why my reserve wasn't working anymore. So we will be having to fish out the old hose from inside the tank now, just to make sure that that's not breaking down and causing problems in the future. But we got that side out, now we can get this one out. And this pickup right here looks like this with this curved piece on there. So that's what we're working with on this side. There we go. And that actually doesn't look too bad. That screen is in really good shape still. So that's good to know. Now we can very carefully clean up around these holes. Careful not to knock any of this dirt into the tank. Like I probably did right there. If you pull your reserve side out and you also get just the fitting with no hose on it, you're going to want to take the tank out and dump it out. So I will show you how to remove the tank real quick. I'm just going to remove the wiring. Yours probably won't be taped down. I taped this down when I had the seat pan removed last, but we can just swing this wiring over here. And then the fuel tank just lifts straight up like that. I got the tank emptied out and back in place. It just sets right back down, the opposite of how it came out. And here is what came out as I was emptying the tank. This is the pickup for that fuel reserve. And you can see it looks quite different than a new piece of Tygon. So this is what happens. They get old and brittle, and you can see it cracked up on top here, and that is why it fell off of that pickup. And this is actually not too bad. I've seen them where they just fall apart when you touch them. So if it didn't fall off, it would have been okay, but you can see that top here is just starting to fall right apart. It's getting to that point where it's really brittle, and obviously, since it fell off, it needs to be replaced. So that's what goes wrong with these. As I go through the process, I will put any part numbers or specs on the screen, and all the products that you will need to do this job will be linked in the description below. That piece of hose that I've been showing came in this kit from Amazon. I wasn't quite sure of the quality this was going to be, so I figured I'd order it and check it out. And it doesn't seem to be too bad. I just wanted to make sure everything was the right size and the right specs, so just to check it out. Yeah, those do fit in there pretty well. So I think this kit would work if you would like to use it. Of course, like I said, the links will be in the description if you want to buy this kit. But I opted to just go ahead and buy everything separately too. So this is the pickup strainers for the reserve side. I got 2 of the John Deere style grommets, the new primary pickup that I already showed you earlier, and then some premium Tygon line. This is 1/4 inch ID and 3/8 inch OD Tygon tubing. And now we can go ahead and put all of our parts together. I will be reusing the fitting for the reserve side. So I got to get that off of here. There we go. Can get that old grommet off of there and clean that up. It's actually fairly clean, so I don't think it needs a lot of cleanup. Sometimes these fittings can get rusty, so if you need to replace this, I will pop the part number for this piece on the screen right now. We will use our original pickup tube to get the right size. I always find that a sharp tin snips works really well for cutting tubing like this, but not in this case apparently. And there we go. It's just a little bit longer, which I think is better than being too short. And then we can put our hose on our fitting, just like that. Now that we have our pickup hose on, we can get our grommet on there. I'm just going to use a little bit of silicone spray, if I can actually spray it on there, just to help everything go on smoothly. We don't want to damage the grommet or the line or anything as anything's going together. And also the silicone spray is safe to use on the rubber. It's not going to degrade it quick like some sort of a petroleum lubricant would, or it might at least. But that's all the farther that we're going to put that grommet on for right now, and you'll see in a second why. But now we can go ahead and put our screen on the bottom of our pickup and just slide that on as far as you can. The spring doesn't need to go over the Tygon. At least it's not on the OEM one. So just get that on there, and then that's ready to go back in the tank. And we can move on to the primary side. So that comes like this with a piece of cardboard over this screen. Because that screen is very delicate, and it's very good that they protect it from getting damaged during shipping. And we'll do the same thing with this grommet. Just lubricate it a little bit. On the inside. We'll do the same thing on the outside when it's going in the tank, but just feed that through, and we'll keep it just off of where it's supposed to be once again, and we're ready to go in the tank. Okay, lube up this grommet on the outside a little bit here, put some around the hole. And then we can slide it into the tank. And now this is why we didn't push it all the way up onto this. If it was all the way up here, it would be too thick to fit in there. So now we should just be able to work that right into the hole like that. And then I'll just take a little bit of this silicone and wipe it on this. Once again, making sure that we don't damage any of the surfaces as we're putting this in, or else if this gets a tear in it, it's going to leak. And now just carefully hold the grommet in place and work the fitting down into it. Just like that. And now we can go to the primary side, get this lubed up. Got a little too much on there again. Can use that just to put around the hole a little bit. And then once again, be very careful of this screen as you're guiding it in there. And get the grommet in place. And now you know that your screen is well protected. And you can just get that fitting down in there nice and easy. And now we're ready to reconnect the fuel lines. I went ahead and replaced all of the other fuel lines on the tractor, but I made that into a separate video because it deserves its own walkthrough. So now I just take the hose clamps off the old hoses, put it on the new ones, and put them on the fittings. And then the reserve side will be done once we get this clamp back moved up into place. Just like that. Then slide this hose clamp onto the new hose. New hose on the fitting. And now with all those fuel lines done, we're ready to put the seat pan back on. Just a reminder that there is a spacer up front here, an oversized nut in my case, and that might fall out as we're installing the seat pan, but it can be put back in place with the seat pan there, so not a big deal there. And then, of course, be careful not to scratch up the seat pan on these hydraulic levers. I left the tape in place for that. And then just make sure that your wiring is all in a good spot. That's why I have the tape on there, to make sure that none of the wiring gets pinched, and then we'll have to feed up the seat switch connector up through the seat pan while we put it on. Don't forget to remove the gas cap if you have that installed. And then if you have someone that can help you out, please go grab them. It is much safer for the seat pan and, more importantly, you. But I am stubborn, so here we go. The tire chains also make it a little more difficult to get it over the tires. And there's those mounting bolts for the side panels that it gets stuck on over here. So you just got to make sure you lift the seat pan over those, and then it slides into place. And then you can just line up your bolt holes, get those bolts back in, reconnect your electrical connections, and you're good to go. And if you want any more information on the John Deere 318, I have a playlist for you right here, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.